Hello and welcome back to another Let's Play Planet Zoo. My name is Chris, and this is episode 8 of Perseid Zoo. In this episode, we are building the staff facilities for the Americas area. They're going to be hidden in this building that we are going to call the Perseid Institute, the Center for Research and Conservation, funded by Lord Perseid himself, mind you. Basically, this building is going to look like a educational building, somewhere you would bring schools, and they would, learn about the animals. They would learn about conservation. There might be classes here in the evening, that sort of thing. So I just kind of wanted to design a small building kind of tucked off here in the corner, and I thought it's located kind of towards the front of the park, so it makes sense for a after-hours publicly accessible building, that it could be, feasibly here and not cause too much disruption to the zoo after hours, or even with like large school groups. You can kind of bring them in through a side entrance or something. But anyway, so working on the building here, dropping all the staff buildings. We've got our staff lounge, we've got our keeper hut, we've got our, I believe, like maintenance shack or shed or whatever they call it. Workshop, that's the word. It's the workshop. So yeah, I wanted to design kind of a modern building that you could kind of look in and see the interior of the building. Obviously, this is on a staff path, so no guests would be walking in here. But I still kind of wanted it to feel like something's happening in that building. It's not just hollow and empty, and it's not just hiding things, so to speak. I wish we had left and right variants of doors like we did in Planet Coaster. I know that I'm saying there's like a lot of wish list items. Every time I record one of these, I wish they had this. But no, I really do, because it would have avoided the whole this. Having to make a door go the opposite direction and still look like it belongs. Like I just didn't flip a door upside down. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, these big windows here on the front would allow you to kind of see inside the building, kind of get a glimpse of, ooh, what's happening in there. Especially, with such an enticing name as the Perseid Institute Center for Research and Conservation. I mean, ooh, that sounds fancy. Like, people who work there have fun and enjoy their days at work or something. But yeah, no, it would just kind of like give you a glimpse into the outer hallway, obviously, since we don't really have a whole lot of interior decorations, and of course I don't want to drag up the prop count on something that you're only kind of going to see in passing and not really zoom in on. I had the thought here originally to kind of drop in a reception area, where I could, someone would meet you, greet you, where schools would check in, or you would check in if you were visiting. But I really just couldn't get the look I wanted, so yep, eventually just kind of deleted here. I think we tried a couple more things before I finally called it quits, but either way, the building's still going to look cool. I promise you, it looks cool. So far, I think it's like my second favorite building in the park, if that gives you any idea. Well, I mean, we've only had 2 buildings in the park, but I've been building since these videos, and there's some other cool buildings I've dropped down, and this one's still one of my favorites. It's got kind of the simple design here, where it kind of peaks up, and then eventually you'll see it here in a second. It's going to like peak down. So yeah, it kind of gives it kind of a asymmetrical shape, but still symmetrical. I don't know if that's a thing. It's okay. You guys can make fun of my lack of architectural knowledge. Maybe I should get an architect book so I don't sound like such a fool. I can actually use the words in the lingo. Anyway, so I just want to kind of hide the actual staff buildings themselves, but to make it look like there's, you know, something big back here. Maybe like there's a classroom. There's, you know, like a little theater room. Not necessarily like an IMAX. Ooh, that'd be cool. I should build an IMAX. Those are at zoos. Huh. I'm gonna write that down as an idea. I'm gonna build an IMAX theater in my zoo. That would be amazing. Okay, it's on paper. It's gonna happen. IMAX theater. But watch Lord Percy's adventures in full glorious IMAX and Dolby Digital surround sound. So yeah, that's the shape of the building, and again, it's a pretty simple design, but I think it looks cool. I actually got the idea from the internet. I don't know where exactly, but I saw a couple of building designs like this. They were much bigger and grandiose, but I saw a couple roof designs like this. Again, bigger and more grandiose, but yeah, I figured I'd try to recreate it here, and I think it turned out pretty cool. Like I said, this is probably one of my favorite buildings in the park so far. Did have kind of trouble here towards the end trying to... I wish we had like 1 meter roof pieces, and not the full 4 meter, or even like 2 meter roof pieces would be cool. But yeah, I was just kind of struggling to get it tucked in there. Can't actually remember what I did, if I pulled it out or lowered it. I think maybe I did a bit of both. We'll find out here in a minute. Yeah, so I pulled it out a little bit and just lowered it. And then I think I eventually just kind of dropped in like a little middle piece. There it is. No, not that one. Let's see. These ones, yeah. I figure from ground level you're really not going to notice. Excuse me, you're not going to notice this little lip here. And it looks better than, you know, a janky piece of metal sticking out into the sky. So there it is, the Perseid Institute. Woo! Woo! And there was much rejoicing. Um, Now, one thing, if you haven't seen it before, is if you kind of sink these pieces in, these sign pieces, on a flat surface, you can still kind of you can clip them out and keep the letters. I'm sure all of you have seen that before, but if you haven't, there it is. It's pretty convenient. So you can get these kind of like small font letters in there without actually having to drop a full-on sign. You can see that the LOD on it works pretty well too. Like you can zoom out here and it doesn't like clip back out of the wall. I always seem to keep going back to these wooden planks for almost everything. They're such a versatile texture. You color them dark, they almost look metal. Color them light, and then you can have like different types of wood shaded on there. I wish they made more Flexicolor pieces. Again, here I am going rambling about all the things I wish they did. I have to stop doing that. They've made a wonderful game. I don't want to rail on them. I just want more. I'm a greedy guy. I want it all. Yeah, just kind of adding a texture to the underside of the roof here, giving it a little bit more depth and kind of making it look like it's not just floating out in air. Kept having trouble lining them up. I finally just said screw it all, eyeball it. Being lazy sometimes does not pay, even though I keep trying to be lazy here. Maybe I didn't finish the underside of the roof. I thought I did. Maybe I go back to it. I don't actually remember. Nope, actually that roof line looks right. I guess I did not. So you just watched all that struggling and fiddling for nothing. I'm sorry about that. Again, like I said, I should probably watch these videos before I go in and record audio, so I even know what I'm talking about. It's okay; it'll get better. We're getting closer to where I am actually in my zoo. So that's good because I took a break over the holidays. So. So yeah, the interior is starting to take shape, at least in terms of the walls are up. And yeah, just kind of adding some doors here to again make it look like you go into this place and walk around and, you know, take a tour or something. Yeah, drop down a path here real quick just so I can plop down some of the picnic benches here to make it look like there's some seating, some, you know, like lunch space for either the workers or, again, like school groups or whoever's coming to visit. And start decorating it here, putting in lots of planters. Going to put in lots of like tropical looking plants. Again, to kind of give that idea of like conservation area. I thought about putting some planters on the sides here, but didn't really like how they looked. Then here in the corner, putting a big, you know, planter feature. And yeah, like I said, just dropping down a whole bunch of tropicals, you know, stuff that would you would see growing kind of inside one of these buildings. Something that's easy to maintain and looks pretty. Really just kind of trying out all the different trees and bushes here, seeing what fits best, what I can kind of tuck into this small space. I think these little papyrus ones won out. Just some tropical looking flowers here. Again, stuff that looks like it's easy to maintain in kind of an indoor environment. Just going around, dropping down some windows. Again, making it look like there's stuff upstairs or stuff downstairs. You know, you can go into the main section of this building and do some things. So yeah, that pretty much does it for the interior of the building there. Now we go around, connect up the path, put down some landscape on the outside. Yeah, I think it looks pretty nice. Look at that. Putting in some low grasses here, just gonna hide the building just a little bit, so when you're walking into the entrance, you see it, but you don't really notice it. I'm just kind of disguising it or hiding it behind some of these trees and other bits of landscaping. Tuck down a couple little beds here and there, but again, kind of wanted to make it look like someone had just thrown down some seeds of flowers, maybe planted them a little bit in areas, but I didn't want any large flower beds on this area of the park. Something that'd be kind of easier to once a month run the lawnmower out through here and not really have to worry about it too much. Chose those crazy looking Himalayan birch, at least I believe that's what they're called, the Himalayan birch, on the back there, because I figured they're mostly in the shade, even up here a little bit on the front, but the straight ones, but these crookedy ones in the back, I figured they're kind of in the shade, they're covered by some other trees, they'd be reaching for the sun in kind of awkward ways, plus they look really cool, so I wanted to use them. Let's be honest, that's the main reason. It looked cool, so I wanted to use it. That's my reasoning for a lot of things, unfortunately. Unfortunately, depending on how you look at it. It's done okay for me this far. Now over here it was more of like a formal bed. Like somebody had actually planted all these, probably in the Midwest here, which kind of assuming this biome of this zoo is similar to like that would be, of course we're not going super realistic with it, but I figured they'd be more like perennials. Somebody actually went through and planted and landscaped that a little bit more than just threw a bag of seeds and called it a day. Of course, got to have some wisteria. It just looks pretty, and it attracts all the pollinators. So you gotta have that. Of course, I moved the sign and I broke it. I like that they gave us some pretty skinny wisteria bushes. So you can kind of tuck them in on these little tight spaces. It's pretty nice. I do want some yellow flowers though. That is still something I think if we ever get yellow flowers, I'm going to redo this area here with some yellow flowers. I want my coreopsis. I guess not all coreopsis are yellow. Kind of like our black-eyed Susans. sunflower coreopsis? I'm not sure actually. Huh. I think you got like the pink coneflower or purple coneflower. I think that one's a coreopsis. I don't know. My wife's the expert on knowing that sort of stuff. I just kind of nod and smile. I know birds. That's what I know. I pretend that I know what plants are. But yes, I do want yellow plants, yellow flowers. Even though, yes, in real life, most of them are like purples and blues, but still. But yeah, just lighting up the building now. Putting some exterior lights, some landscape lights to light up the sign, give you kind of that, I don't know what they would call it in the architecture or landscaping world, where you get that kind of elliptical curve architecture lights. I don't know. The thing that looks pretty when you put the lights on, that's what we're doing now. Yep, now just putting lights on the interior of the building here, so that at night it looks inviting and not like a big, dark, scary building. Plus, it adds depth to this building when you pop out and view it from somewhere else, which I think looks really cool. Again, like, this is probably one of my favorite buildings that I've built so far in the zoo. And just burying some of these area lights just to make it look like it's a little bit brighter in here. Some of these other lights just don't have the same power to them that would, I mean, just from their size, look like they would light up. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. People are probably saying, stick to programming, Chris. You have no idea what you're talking about. And I wanted to throw a TV up here, but again, we don't have custom TVs yet, or custom videos, because I want to throw like a little like welcome to the Perseid Center or Perseid Institute, you know, hours are from something to something. For tours, call Debbie. So yeah, we're getting pretty close to the final form of it here. Just dropping down some benches. And I think we dropped down a little power structure. Yeah, it's definitely... Oh, it looks so good. If I haven't said it already, I am very pleased with how this building turned out. Just so you know. Then just dropping a little fence back here. I figured it'd be a way to keep the guests from going off exploring. Yeah, I was trying to get it to line up with the the rocks there, or the mountain there. Now we're just kind of painting the terrain out here, putting some dirt around the bushes, the trees, keeping the grass a little bit shorter, you know, just adding a little bit of texture so that everything's not just the long grass. Yeah, eventually remove this long grass here. Give it kind of a more maintained. Again, like they run the lawnmower down there every now and again. Drop the azaleas down around here like we did to the other side, or I guess to the back here around those trees, just kind of matching the whole theme around the building. So yeah, that's that. Play some cinematics here, and I'll see you guys on the next one.